The results of the Department of Statistics labor force survey were revealed today, and they may not say what some were expecting.
Instead of going up, officials say unemployment has in fact shrunk. Cleopatra Murphy has those figures and what officials say contributed to the decrease.
The Department of Statistics says unemployment in the country has fallen to 11.6% since May 2016, down from 12.7% when it released its last labor force and household income survey in July. The number represents a 1.1% decline in unemployment, and officials from the Department of Statistics say it is due to an increase of 4,025 employed persons and a decrease of 2,155 unemployed persons. Acting Director in the Department of Statistics, Leona Wilson, says the survey represents the period October 24th through 30th and came 2 weeks after Hurricane Matthew. She addressed skepticism over the numbers.
During that period, there was an increase in economic activity in terms of the restoration and reconstruction, the cleanup and the reconstruction. And so persons were employed in those activities, and so that just happened to be reflected in the figures, because that's what the reference period is.
The survey showed that unemployment on New Providence now sits at 12.9%, 13.3% in Grand Bahama, 9.1% in Abaco, 4% in Bimini, and 8% on Exuma. Senior statistician in charge of the survey, Cipriana Winters, says youth employment among those 15 to 24 fell slightly, but has increased 4.3% from 25.1% in November 2015. She says discouraged workers also declined 15%.
New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Abaco experienced declines in the number of discouraged workers, 16%, 18%, and 11% respectively.
This year, the survey also measured the impact of Hurricane Matthew, with Winters noting that 68% of homes severely impacted were on New Providence and 18% on Grand Bahama. Winters says it also reveals that 10% of homes on New Providence, Grand Bahama, Exuma, Abaco, and Bimini had their electricity turned off due to non-payment. This was the first time the department measured this variable.
Additionally, the survey showed that a little more than 1,385 persons were employed as a direct result of Hurricane Matthew. 23% of the labor force was made up of persons between the ages of 15 to 35 years. 22% of unemployed persons were between the ages of 20 to 24.
With regard to employment, Winters says men accounted for the largest portion of the employed labor force, adding also that the construction sector showed the largest growth, some 16% since May. She also commented on the timing of the survey, which she says is consistent.
We do a survey every 6 months. Our reference period for May would be the last week of April. The reference period for the November survey is the last week of October. And so that is institutionalized. We conduct those surveys regardless of what is happening in the economy.
At the time of the last survey, the labor force totaled 215,880, with 133,365 employed on New Providence and 24,500 employed on Grand Bahama. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.